Hello and welcome to the InNews series section of Drishti IAS. I am Aisha, and in today's episode, we will be discussing about the SIPRI report, which tells about the import and export of arms, which has been done by the world and what is India's ranking in it. So, the SIPRI stands for Stockholm International Peace Research Institute, that is SIPRI. So, when we talk about Stockholm, so Stockholm is the capital of Sweden, and Sweden is a Scandinavian country. So Stockholm, capital of Sweden, Sweden a Scandinavian country surrounded by Finland on one side and Norway on the other side. So let's see the top points of discussion. First, we'll be looking at the news, then about the SIPRI report and its findings, and what does India's interim budget for this year talks about the defense allocation, what is the Europe's case, and in the end, a prelims practice question. Topic is of relevance from General Studies paper 3, that is defense technology and also the indigenization of defense technologies. So from exam perspective, you should be able to know about the findings of the SIPRI report and from which country India imports the maximum arms or the largest importer to India, and what is India's scenario as of now and what has been the trend. So the news talks about India, world's top arm importer between 2019-2023. So this is what the SIPRI report is talking about, and the time period or the year is 2019 to 2023, that is 5 years period. The earlier was 2018 to 2022 and this is 2019 to 2023. So this report talks about that India, world's top arms importer. Top arms importer means that India imports the maximum arms around the world. So let's see this. So the SIPRI, which stands for the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute, it published its report, and SIPRI was established in the year 1996, and Stockholm is a capital of Sweden. Sweden is a Scandinavian country. On one side it has Finland and on other side it has Norway. It also shares its border with the Baltic Sea. And then the report was published in the backdrop of the war which is going on in Ukraine, that is the Russia-Ukraine war, and also the war which is going on between the Hamas and the Israel. Then the International Arms Transfer from SIPRI has also released its data, and it talks about that India was the world's top arms importer for the period 2019 to 2023. So importer, it means India is taking the maximum number and quantity of arms around the world, and the imports having gone up by 4.7% compared to the period of 2014 to 2018. So as compared to the period of 2014 to 2018, in 2019 to 2023 period, the import quantity or the percentage has gone up by 4.7%. Then comes the findings of the SIPRI report. So the arms import by European countries increased by 94% between 2014 to and 2019 to 2023. It means that in the period 2019 to 2023, European countries are also importing a lot of arms, and that the increase has been around 94%. And if we will look at the scenario, then European countries are considered to be developed countries. They are industrialized countries, and they are also the countries which are one of the major exporters of arms also. So they are exporting also, they are importing also. Like for example, you can say that France is one of the major exporter of the arms. Germany is also one of the major exporters of the arms. So European countries are importing arms also and they are exporting arms also. Russia remained India's main arms supplier. So India's main arms supplier remains Russia, that is accounting for 36% of its arms import. So whatever amount or whatever percentage of arms which is being imported by India, out of 100%, 36% of arms India is importing from Russia. And Russia has always been one of the major arms exporter to India. Russia has always been in the top 3 of the major arm exporters to India. Then first 5-year period since 1960 to 64, when deliveries from Russia made up less than half of India's arms import. Now this is an important point that you should remember, that whenever India talks about its import of arms, then Russia always crosses around the 50% mark. So India always imports around 50% of its arms from Russia. But since the time of 1960 to 64, this has been the first instance when the import from Russia has declined to around 36%. Even though import from one country 36% is also a very huge quantity, but seeing the history that India and Russia had since the time of 1960 and 64, going below the 50 mark level is in itself a drop, and 36% is a big drop. Then 9 of the 10 biggest arm importers in 2019-23 and top 3 importers of arms in the time period of 2019 to 23 can be India, Saudi Arabia and Qatar. So these 3 are the top 3 arms importers. That is number 1 India, number 2 Saudi Arabia and number 3 Qatar. So you can say that all 3 are Asian countries. India, Asian country, Saudi Arabia and Qatar, Middle Eastern country. So these 3, this is a very important fact you should remember, because this can be asked anytime, that it can be shuffled between that who is the major arm importer. It will be shuffled between Saudi Arabia first, India second or Qatar third. Or in the time period of 2019 to 2023, talk about the top 3 arm importers. Then out of these 3, anyone can be missed. Then out of, like for example, Qatar can be replaced by any other country, like for example Kuwait, like for example Bahrain, like for example UAE. So you need to remember these 3, very, very important. Star mark this. Then these are the top 3. Then comes Ukraine became 4th biggest arm importer after it received transfers of major arms from over 30 states in the year 2022-23. So top 3 was India, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the 4th number is Ukraine. Even though if we will see the size, then over the years we will not expect Ukraine to be on the 4th position, but because of the Russia-Ukraine war, Ukraine is standing at the 4th position, and Ukraine is receiving arms from the European countries. Then Pakistan, 5th largest arms importer. 4th is Ukraine, 5th is Pakistan. In 2019-23 went up by 43%, with China supplying 82% of its all arms imports. So 5th position is held by Pakistan, and Pakistan's arms import has increased by 43%, and out of 100%, 82% of Pakistan's arms import is coming from China. Then arms export of the world's largest supplier, that is United States of America, grew by 17% between 2014-18 and 2019-23, while those by Russia fell by more than 53%. Now this is also an important point, that in the time period 2019-23, if we talk about the export of arms, when we talk about export of arms, it means sending outside of the country. Import means coming inside the country. So if we talk about the exports of arms, then the United States of America export of arms has increased by 17%, while on the other hand, Russia's export of arms has decreased by 53%. So Russia is seeing a major decline. France emerged as the world's 2nd largest arms supplier, as its exports grew by 47%. So first is, when we talk about from the respect of exports, first is United States of America, second is not Russia, it is France. And France exports have grew by 47%, and majorly the exports which is done by France is with regard to highly specialized Air Force planes, you can say. Then India's defense budget. So if we talk about the interim budget for this year, that is the year of 2024-25, so the total allocation for the defense ministry was at 6.2 lakh crore. And out of this, the capital allocation for new procurement was 1.72 lakh crore, which is 5.78% higher than the budget estimates of last year. Last year means 2023-24. So 5.78% higher percentage has been given in this year's budget as compared to the last year. So, and capital allocation means the big amounts, the amounts which is for some kind, which you can say will be creating employment or for a very long period of time, or will be creating assets. So for new procurement, the amount is also given at a higher percentage. Then India came back to the top slot in arms import after briefly ceding space to Saudi Arabia in the past. So the top spot with regard to the arms import has always been held in the last, you can say, 7 to 8 years between India and Saudi Arabia, and majorly the top spot is held by India. But in the recent past, it was many a time seen that Saudi Arabia also was coming at the top position, but now India has retained its top position. So India is standing at the first position while Saudi Arabia is at second. Now let's talk about the Europe's case. So over half of arms import by European countries, that is around 55% in 2019-23, were from the United States of America, which is up from 35%. So European countries are taking arms from United States of America, and in the year 2014-18 it was around 35%, but now that from 35% it has grew to 55%. And Europe is responsible for about a third of global arms export. So they are taking arms from US and they are giving arms to the world. And France is at second position when it comes to the export of arms. US has increased its global role as an arms supplier. At the same time, Russia's role has declined and US role has increased, and this also has a majorly to do with the Russia's involvement in the Ukraine war. Then France is the second largest arms supplier. This we just discussed. So this was about SIPRI report. What you need to remember is, first of all, top 3 importers' name. Then you have to remember India's ranking. Then you have to remember the trend. This is very important, trend. See, imagine if you have to write a mains question. So what will you do? First, you will have to talk about that according to SIPRI, this is the India's ranking. Then you will also have to write about the top 3 importers. And then most specifically, what will fetch you marks is writing about the trends, because if we talk about one time or 2 time things, then the ranking keeps on changing. But if we will talk about the trends, like for example, the top arms importer, Saudi Arabia has also taken the first rank. But as of now, India is at the top position. But trend says that over the years, it is India which has maintained its position as one of the top importers. So these trends you have to remember. Now it's time for the practice question, and you will give me the answer in the comment section. Which among the following countries was the world's top arms importer for the period 2019-23? India, Saudi Arabia, Pakistan or Qatar? I think a very easy one for you people. So give me the answer in the comment section. And that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. Till we meet next time. Keep reading, keep writing, and keep subscribing to the channel. Thank you.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.